Okay, so I told you about what happened in the car and how I just realised that God was there. Well, from that point on, I spent, it was probably the next 18 months in a state of awareness that God was there and looking for Him, but there was no real change in my life. I was remember that I was reading the Bible, reading the New Testament, just really trying to find God and find the truth. And like I say, this went on for probably about 18 months and till a point where, again, I was out in the car. This time I was driving, I was by myself, and I'd reached this point where I really just needed God, I guess. And I remember just crying out to Him and praying out loud in the car as I was driving along. And I just prayed for probably 5-10 minutes out loud. And I remember one of the things that I said was, God, I just know that You're real. I know that You're there. Help me. I wanted to break through into a place where I was free and my life was changed. And I prayed that, and nothing spectacular happened on that night. But about a week later, on the weekend I think it was, I was out one night and I'd seen a movie, and I was pulling an all-nighter, and I was out driving by myself and ended up at some 24-hour Coles somewhere, and cruised through Coles, bought a couple things, and I came out of the Coles store. This is probably about 2 o'clock in the morning, and there was a security guard standing outside there, just sort of watching everything. And I remember saying g'day to him, and we struck up a conversation. And I was talking to him for probably a good 20 or 30 minutes when suddenly it just struck me that there was something about this guy. It was like he just really had it together. He had a peace about him. He had he just had it. Yeah, he had it together. And I remember it just occurred to me, this guy's a Christian. He's got what I want. And I asked him, I said, are you a Christian? And he was like, yeah. And that opened up the conversation. We started talking about God, and just went on talking for ages and ages until I think it was the end of his shift. And he invited me to come around and talk more at his house with him and his girlfriend, and they happened to live with with his girlfriend's mother as well, who was also a Christian. So I thought, yeah, hey, I'll do this. So rocked up the next day or the day after at their house, and started talking about God. And there were a lot of things, a lot of problems, I guess, that I had with religion and with God things, and I was just able to talk through those things, and eventually, I guess, talk through them with his girlfriend's mother and someone else that happened to be there at the time, and they had a lot of wisdom, and were able to answer those questions and really just resolve a lot of things in my mind. So I thought, wow, God's there, He cares about me, and I want to do something about it. So they invited me to their church, and I went along to the service, and I remember sitting in that church, and there was a lady, a guest speaker, preaching, and everything that she said that morning, it was like it just applied to my life. And I'd gone through a period of my life, I guess, where I was using drugs a lot, and particularly at that stage, ecstasy. And I remember she was talking specifically about the ecstasy of heaven. And it was just amazing that, God used her and used that particular language to speak to me. And it wasn't just that. There were just so many things that she talked about that just applied to my life. And what I realised during that service is that God was speaking to me through her, that He'd put on her heart and given her I guess the words that applied to me. And at some point, I just remember relinquishing everything to God. It was like, okay, you know, my life, you know, it's yours. You know, I've made a mess of it. I want you in my life, and that was the point, I guess, of change for my life. And that was the end of you know, my former ways and the start of something new. And in finding Jesus in that place, it was just liberating. It was amazing. I had a hope. I had a peace inside me, you know. Before that, it was like I was searching, there was something missing, and you know, for ages I didn't know what it was, and things weren't right, but it was just like everything was right again. It doesn't mean, you know, my life got any easier, but I just had a peace about things, and you know, it's been amazing since.